Sixer fans, we're going to do something a little different today. Today, we are going to look at the stats of 3 individual players, and I'm going to mention why this is just so utterly ridiculous. So, okay, the first stat line belongs to Danny Green. Now, if you look at it, Danny Green is averaging 9.5 points a game. Can't quite see it, the stupid screenshot, but he's averaging it on 47% from the field and 46% from three. Now, I'm going to give a quick digestive scouting report on Danny Green and why I hate Danny Green so much. That 47% from the field, that's a myth, okay? Danny Green doesn't have a mid-range jump shot. Danny Green doesn't, we don't want him to dribble the ball. You saw that pass last night, right? The other night. Danny Green has no offensive ability whatsoever. All Danny Green can do is stand in a corner and wait for someone to pass to him. That's not a basketball skill. I repeat, that's not a basketball skill. That's something for bingo. But it's not an NBA skill. It's not an NBA skill. And because it's not an NBA skill, teams are now learning you can even help off with Danny Green. He goes 4 for 10 for free. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? Game 3, he was able to have that 21-point performance. But if you look at the other games, seriously, look at it. 1 for 10, 2 for 6, 2 for 4, 4 for 6. What are we getting here? We're getting nothing on offense. With no ability to create, no ability to take it off the dribble. Like Sixer Talk with Rant 2.0, he brought this up. And you can just see it on tape. You don't need me to tell you that Danny Green, the least, I'm sorry, offense is about skill. Basketball period is about skill. Danny Green just does not have NBA basketball skill. Doc Rivers talked about it. He was lucky, to go be drafted by the Spurs, who happened to have Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. This dude basically was able to breathe in the NBA championship glory, literally. And then after San Antonio, he gets traded with Kawhi to Toronto, and we all know about the shot that happened, and you're able to get the ring there. And then in free agency, he chooses to sign with LeBron, good business decision, and he gets another championship. Stop talking about Danny Green's rings as though Danny Green himself had any impact on any of them. He didn't. He's the 8th and 9th man who gets 25 minutes a night, hits a couple of shots a night, but he is useless. Yes, even if he had prime Danny Green with the finals records for free, like 15 threes and 5-6 games, would be there. That's like 2 threes a game. Come on now. I'm sorry. Danny Green is and was useless. As useless as any other role player. So now here we are with Matisse Thybulle. He was an even more offensively worthless player than Danny Green. If Danny Green's only shtick is to stand in the corner, Matisse can't stand in the corner. So you put Matisse in a dunker spot. But he's 6'5". He's 6'5", maybe 200 pounds. The same body really as James Harden, but none of the skill, obviously. So you got this undersized power forward who I guess can finish a little bit in the paint sometimes, but he doesn't have any rebounding instinct. And no, the defense, the whole little slap the ball from behind or block from behind, even if it means giving up contain, and even if it means giving up dribble drive and being an actual bad defender who just so happens to get some nice stats. Trade Matisse Thybulle for being useless. He's not a guard. Obviously, he has a guard's body at 6'4", but he's not a guard. He's not a wingman either. He's a tweener with very little skill, maybe even less skill than Danny Green. So move him for whatever the fuck you can get. In other words, someone with more skill than Matisse Thybulle, which should not be a difficult thing to do. It should not be hard to replace Matisse Thybulle. Just look at that, 20% from 3, 20%. And I remember having a discussion, on Discord, on a Discord server, when we were playing Boston in the regular season, remember? And Boston was basically helping out on Matisse Thybulle, and Matisse Thybulle was shooting these threes, and I'm like, stop fucking shooting! But then the problem is, Matisse Bible, just like Danny Green, can't put it on the floor. Why do we have these offensively deficient players on this team who can't play NBA basketball? I'm going to repeat it again. They're not NBA quality players. They're not even G League players. Does anyone really think that if you put Danny Green and Matisse Bible in the G League, that you would all of a sudden get amazing production? I don't even think they can hack it in the G League. They're done. Danny should retire, and Matisse is going to be some team's 11th man for 8 years to collect the paycheck. It's what it is. Both of them are not quality. Get them the fuck out of here. Like, seriously, have Jaden Springer replace Matisse Bible in the rotation. I would rather see Jaden Springer for 15 minutes to find out who he is rather than see Matisse Bible. I'm done. He can't play basketball. Come on, man. Or Isaiah Joe, just give me someone other than Matisse Bible. I can't stand to look at it anymore. Like, what are we doing? I'll bring up Shake Milton and Furkan Korkmaz. I didn't bring up their stats because they're irrelevant, but it's the same thing. Shake Milton can't hit anything outside of 8 feet. Furkan Korkmaz, we all know about that. Sorry, Mom. That's the one area where we disagree. These guys are scrubs. You can even look at Furkan's numbers and objectively, even Mark will admit it. You look at it objectively, he's a scrub. Why do we have all these scrubs? Why do we have all these players who have no right to compete? Furkan isn't getting minutes on Miami or Toronto. Shake isn't getting minutes on Miami and Toronto. Oh, and here, finally, Jordan Yang. Jordan Yang definitely isn't getting any minutes on Toronto and Miami. Our goal is to win an NBA championship. That's our goal. But you would be hard-pressed to think that that's our goal when you have Shake Milton and Furkan Korkmaz and Jordan Yang and Danny Green and Matisse Bible. Between, this stat line is going to come up in a bit. I wrote a note that should be appearing later. But essentially, to give a little bit of a preview, you're basically averaging 15.6 points a game on a combined 40% shooting from the field and 29% from three-point range. And I'm not one of those who subscribe to the idea of, just get a bunch of shooters everywhere. Because, that's actually a problem with it. Furkan can only shoot if he's freaking open. Danny Green can only shoot if he's freaking open. What the Sixers need is they need a shooter who can hit contested shots. Why do I say contested shots? Because not everything is perfect in the NBA. In the NBA, the other defenders are getting paid too. Especially on Miami. They're going to rotate. They're going to come to the ball. They're going to try to trap the ball. They're going to do things. So you have to actually have the NBA ability to dribble a rock. You have to actually dribble a ball in an NBA court setting in order to be successful. Enough of the Dannys, the Teethers, the Shakes, the Furkans, they're just not good enough. And to be brutally honest, we mentioned that we haven't been able to get a second round 4 times the last 5 years. Shake Milton had paid out his entire rookie contract. Furkan Korkmaz not only paid out his rookie contract, he got extended. Danny Green had been here for the 2 of the last years, right? And Matisse Bible, 3 out of the last 4 years. You have ample enough evidence. This is me talking to Dale Moore. You have ample enough evidence. It's not in net rating or whatever. It's on the floor. You have more than enough evidence that this group of guys, these 5 guys, are just not going to get it done for you if your goal is to win a championship. Seriously, Daryl Morey's on the hot seat. Because remember, 2 years ago, he said championship or bust. And I agree with him, especially with the core idea of Joel Embiid and James Harden. Now your job, your essential job, is we can't win that championship with a perimeter attack of this pitiful caliber. Oh my God, I wasn't even able to get the note. I'm sorry. I literally... I did not know that it was going to come up. But this is a way that my note is appearing. I am so sorry. I wrote it on like Mac Notes and whatever. But that's what I was mentioning. What I just wrote. Green, Bible, and Yang, 15 points. But look up till you can see it in slow motion, and you can see it in all of its totality. I am sick. I have been sick for the past 4 seasons. Enough, Daryl. Move this shit off of the roster. None of them should come back at all. Period. And yes, it's on Doc too. Then I'll play the younger players. Reed, Basie, Joe. And even to an extent now, I want to see Springer next season. But more than that, and more than anything, where Doc can't get all of the blame is that you kept the shit on the bench for 3-4 seasons now. It's done. Love Dimples and all, right? But he's not a good player. If we are serious about winning an NBA championship, if we are serious about wanting to get Joel Embiid where we want to get him, we're going to have to help Joel. And yes, James Harden was a start to a degree. He has his own issues. But it's just a start. It wasn't the end. It wasn't the crystallization. It wasn't even close. That's why Daryl Moore, you're on the hot seat. The small forward situation is a disaster, Daryl. I knew it. I've known it for 2 years now. I don't want to see it for a 3rd year. This is how I'm going to end this video. If we, as fans, have to suffer a 3rd season watching Danny Green and Matisse Thybulle actually play NBA basketball or pretend to play NBA basketball on this franchise, I'm going back to the Eagles full time. I watched you ruin Allen Iverson's career. I will not watch you do the same thing to Joel Embiid. Period. If that's how you're going to run yourself as an organization, David Bishop, Joshua Harris, if that's what it's going to be, then I'll devote myself to Eagle football. Because I know Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are going to put me in position every year. I can't say that about this ownership. I can't say that about this general manager. Daryl Morey, you are on the clock. You put yourself on the clock 2 years ago. And now I'm putting you on the clock and I'm letting everyone in the NBA community know. 6 is the best signing off.